When I did financial planning, I did long-term and short-term. Financial planning is broken down into those two. But also when it comes to even creating content, now I understand that you have to put systems in place in order to make it as easy as possible for me to be able to execute. When you meet someone for financial planning, they tell you that, I want to have an education plan, but also I want to have a life policy, but also I want to have enough money to build at home, and also I want to pay black tax, but also I want to have the best Polo Vivo or the best Polo. So it's a lot of things that are everywhere, and you now have to come in and find a way to best bring clarity. So today we have an interesting topic. As you all know, I was actually a financial planner for 3.5 years, and I want to reflect on how financial planning shaped my creative journey and what have been my biggest lessons just being within that space. So I'm sure the first thing you want to know is, how did I get into financial planning in the first place? I have to take you back to my sales consultant job. I was actually a customer experience consultant for Huawei, and I did that for 3.5 years. Back then, when they just came into South Africa, we knew it as Hawaii, and it was a Hong Kong brand. No one wanted to buy it, and they came in strong in the market. I mean, at some point, selling 10 phones a month was a lot. I was able to work that sales job up to being at least top 3 in the country every single month. But that was retail, which meant that I literally had to work 6 days a week, and the only off day was on a Monday. Like, guys, what can you do on a Monday? But it was a season of my life, I think, that I really enjoyed. I learned a lot from it, but I could just feel that, you know what, I really wanted, some more time with family, with friends, and I could tell that if I don't get out of that job during that specific time, I'm actually gonna be stuck in that season for quite some time. And I feel like a window period came that was uncomfortable, where I saw that, okay, this is a moment to make my jump. Because I feel like, what I learned from it is that if I didn't make the jump that time, because you can in commission, things are going well. Literally, the person who took my position straight after, because of the track record, went to China. And I really had to think, either I stay in this company and I grow with them, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved working with them, or do I prioritize my creative journey? Do I prioritize time with family, friends, etc. I think I then met up with somebody who knew me. They knew who I was, what I was about, and they're like, hey, would you be interested in doing financial planning? I'm like, oh, financial planning? I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting. Tell me more. And I pretty much looked at financial planning like you running your own business. From day one, there is no salary. You're strictly on commission. And it's, how do you use your network? How do you use your skills? How do you use your outreach techniques to provide value to clients? And that's how I got into financial planning. It was more for the freedom of my time, but risking the financial aspect of it, and actually betting on myself to say, I can jump into a new field, learn as much as I can and as quickly as I can, and then be able to create some form of sustainability for my life with regards to that. So I went for an interview, went well. Second interview, got it, and that's how I got into financial planning. I know it's not like a crazy story, but I find it interesting because it's a page out of my life. So I think the first thing I want to speak about is, what misconception about money did I learn that is currently helping me in content creation or in the way that I work with my clients right now? I think the first thing I learned is that if you don't allocate your money, then the money will allocate itself. When I first heard it, I was like, is that really practical? And then I realized for myself, whenever I had extra money in my bank account and I didn't allocate it to a specific task at which it's for, I found that money started allocating itself, because I either started buying unnecessary things. When certain needs or certain people needed money, I just allocated to that. Next thing you know, the bank account is low. And I'm like, okay, where did all of this money go? But it's simply because I didn't give that money a task. I didn't allocate it towards something that it's supposed to go and accomplish. And I think for me, it felt like such a simple principle, but the whole idea of creating a budget then really made sense, because now it didn't become something that's far-fetched and something that's just for people who are earning loads of money and they know where it should go. But I realized that creating a budget is actually something that's simply for every single person. So I took that personally. Then I started to exercise that as I was starting off in the career. Okay, let me get a spreadsheet, let me create a budget. Because then how else was I gonna help my clients create a budget if I'm not able to do that for myself? Then I found that when I started creating a budget, I was able to be more disciplined in how I use money. So if I knew that my entertainment budget is 1,000 Rand, even if I was gonna go over, I was at least gonna go over by $100 or $200, rather than allocating more than I should have, simply because I didn't give the money a task. And I apply that till this day in terms of the kind of work that we do. One, obviously finances for the business. I make sure that it's allocated. Come month end, I need to know that, okay, we have salaries to pay, we have company expenses, we have subscriptions, etc. But also when it comes to even creating content, now I understand that you have to put systems in place in order to make it as easy as possible for me to be able to execute. Now, the more hurdles I put with regards to how I actually show up and add value to people, the harder it is for me to actually sit down and create content and have these conversations. So I always look for the easiest ways for me to be able to allocate my time accordingly and for me to be able to show up for my clients or for the content that I create. So yeah, I find it as such a simple misconception, but I find it as something that you're able to apply in almost every single area of your life, because it's really about accountability and discipline. And I think the second takeaway I got from it is that it helped me view my content more as an investment rather than just a creative expression or something that's meant to go viral. So if you understand investing, you understand that your investment compounds over time and it needs consistency. So the more consistent you are in just putting away 500 Rand, at first it might not look as much. At first it might not seem as much. The first year, $500 is only 6,000 Rand at the end of the year. But once that money starts compounding, over a period of time, you find the snowball effect growing and gaining momentum. And that's how I actually view content. I'm not looking for one big break of going viral. Same thing I also advise my clients. If that happens, is that great? Yes, it is. But if you then only look at it in that instance, then you're going to be discouraged very quickly, and you're also not going to see your documentation and the content you create as a long-term journey of who you are and of you figuring out things. And as a byproduct of that, obviously you're going to attract a community, you're going to attract people that are interested in your perspective and in the things that you do. So I think that's helping me till this day to position the things that I create as a long-term investment. Now, the investment doesn't only have to pay off financially, although financially is, what we'd like. I mean, all of us would like some extra money. But it pays off as an investment of personal development. The more I create, the more I have to read, the more I have to grow myself, and the more it challenges me to be able to come back and have more meaningful conversations. It can also come back as perspective shift. It can come back as a networking opportunity, because some people see some of the videos I create from a DM, it turns to coffee, and next thing you know, I'm having a conversation with somebody that I wouldn't have met if I wasn't doing this, or getting access to them would have been extremely hard. But simply because I started breaking the barrier by showing up and showing up consistently, it then turns into an investment for me, because then it does the work for me. Whether it's value creation, building relationships, creating a network, I just now participate in the flywheel of the content that we're creating. So yeah, I think that part of financial planning really still continues to play a role in what I do. And I think I must add that I really believe that no matter what stage or what career or anything that you've been involved in, I always believe that that always creates a mountain of value that you sit on. And that's a part of what makes your unique fingerprint or your unique DNA. Just like how our fingerprints differ, every experience and everything that you've been through right up until now gives you a unique perspective in terms of how you show up for a community and in terms of how you add value to the people that you're called to serve. So I think that's why I like reflecting on these journeys, because then it shows my unique fingerprint, just like how you have your own with regards to how you see the world and how you can better serve people. I think for me, this one is very big because financial planning taught me how to have a client-centered approach. It wasn't just about what I thought was good, what I thought was best, and maybe to give context. When I did financial planning, I did long-term and short-term. Financial planning is broken down into those two. Short-term is more insurance. It's should something happen, you make sure that it's covered and you are able to claim for that incident. This could be vehicle insurance, this could be life insurance. It's basically risk management. This could be home contents insurance. Someone breaks in, things are stolen, you have home contents that covers the items that you have within your home. So that's one. Then the second part of it was I did long-term. Long-term is, it says it itself. This is investments, and obviously it goes into life policies, etc., where we are planning long-term with regards to that. So I did both of those products, or both of those categories, but I also did them in different products. So I had Momentum, Discovery, Old Mutual, Liberty, that's the long-term. Short-term, King Price, Auto in general. I mean, you could go on. So having a client-centered approach meant that how can I understand your needs and then bring forth the best solution based off your needs. It's not about what I think is best. It's not about my favorite product that I love to interact with because they have the best consultants, because I know that they are timely, they'll get back to me in time, you know, they'll be able to make the deal easier for me. But it was really about how can I make this the best possible plan for you. So I think that lesson is something that I apply both in the content I create and obviously in the business that we run, because it's always about understanding what do our different clients need, because people are in different stages of their businesses or their careers. And based on where they are, we do our best to make sure that we meet them where they are. But I think the true integrity of being client first and with regards to either the content or clients is also being able to accept when I'm not the best person to help a client. And I'm grateful that it took me a long time to get to a space where I'm actually able to say that, hey, I actually don't think I'm the best solution for you. I can suggest somebody else, which you might be more aligned to. Here are the contact details, give them a call, and this might be the best person for you to work with. Now, I learned that from financial planning years, but it also took a lot of inner work for me because one, I had to up my skill, understand that I can actually provide the solution, and then thirdly, also understand that it's important to have a more collaborative relationship with clients rather than it is a more top-down angle, which is usually what happens. And if there's no alignment, then it's okay. And before I used to take it, I was like, yeah, you know what, I want a portfolio, this would be great to do. And you take the work and the burden that it comes with. But I really do feel that being client first is being able to now and again see that, okay, there's no alignment here. I think it's actually best that I suggest you to somebody else and you work with them. Same thing with content. I don't think I'm for everyone. I don't think everybody who sees my content will be like, yeah, I like this guy, I want to watch him. No. I mean, people will be like, I am making sure this guy never shows up. You know, click the 3 buttons there and do not see again. And I think that's okay. Like, I really believe in the concept that if you're for everyone, then you're for no one. So there's a specific group of people that you are called to, and a specific group of people that you can best serve and that you can best help. And yeah, having that people first or client first alignment or philosophy, I think just sets you free. You know, it sets you free to become who you are, and it also sets you free to make sure that you look for the people that you can best help and for the people that you can obviously best serve. I think another interesting correlation is what are the similarities between helping clients build their brand and helping clients do financial planning? Actually, didn't even think of that one. What are some of the similarities? I think what is similar is that a lot of people want to do what they have to do, but because of the lack of knowledge, everything is all over the place. Like when you meet someone for financial planning, they tell you that, I want to have an education plan, but also I want to have a life policy, but also I want to have enough money to build at home, and also I want to pay black tax, but also I want to have the best Polo Vivo or the best Polo. So it's a lot of things that are everywhere, and you now have to come in and find a way to best bring clarity, and also for the client to be able to locate themselves with regards to, okay, you are here. Based on this, here are some suggestions to get you to the next phase or to the next level or what you have to do. Same thing I find with building brands. I think it was just like me. I wanted to create for everybody, and I wanted to offer value for every single person because I thought, okay, I wanted to be liked. I wanted to make sure that I'm able to serve everyone, until it took me a while to realize that no, I'm not called to serve everyone because I also haven't done everything in the world. I can best serve based on the context of where I've been, what I've learned, what I've applied, what I've helped others with, and what I've helped myself with. So then I understand that, okay, now when it comes to building a brand, that's how I want to build it. Obviously, I want to be authentic, hence I'm even doing this video and share more of who I am. So I think those are definitely the similarities. I think it's just helping people locate themselves with regards to where they are, and then from understanding that context, be able to move forward in incremental steps that give them the small wins to realize that it's possible, but give them the confidence to just stick with the plan and do it over a long period of time. And I think the last lesson for me was, like I said, I did a lot of products. So I had to understand a lot of complex terms, but be able to break them down to clients that have no idea what they mean in the industry, but they need to understand how that affects their daily lives. So financial planning really challenged my communication. Like I've always had a lot of ideas in my head, but being able to break them down and say them clearly to the next person, I think it's something that is just, very hard. I think till this day, it's something that I'm still growing out of. But I think financial planning really put me in a context of, all right, how do I best explain complex terms in a very simple way for the person who's not in the industry to understand them? And what I got from that is that the more I understand and the more I'm not just paraphrasing or parroting whatever it is I'm saying, but I have a deep knowledge and I study it, the easier it is for me to be able to actually break it down into simpler contexts. And I can definitely say that I've been able to take that with me on my journey till now, because it's helping me become a better communicator, and it's also helping me to further sharpen my communication skills. I think that's one of the things why I love long form content and I love YouTube, because it forces me to put myself in a space where I'm learning how to better communicate. Like when I watch this, I won't be too hard on myself, but I'll be like, oh, I shouldn't have said that way. I shouldn't have broken down that concept the way I did. But it's all going toward the right step of, I want to be able to communicate better and to break down hard concepts or even simple concepts in the simplest way possible. I know the saying, I might botch it. But it goes, you don't really understand something unless you're able to explain it to a 6-year-old. So any complex topic or anything that's just complex, if you're able to explain it to a 6-year-old and they understand you, that means you understand it. So I think I'm constantly trying to get to that place where I'm able to explain complex things, but able to explain them effectively, which I think that is where the challenge comes in. So for me, those are my top 5 learnings that I got from financial planning to being a creator. Well, I was still a creator then, to be honest. But I definitely still have more that I'd like to chat to you guys about. But I'm also curious, if you have to look back from some of the spaces, some of the industries, whether career or just life learnings that you've had, have you been able to apply them to what you are doing now? Have you taken time to do some introspection and actually see that, that journey actually wasn't for nothing. It probably prepared me to where I am now and to the things that I am currently doing. My name is Maphumulo. Looking forward to see you on the next episode.